All right, thanks everyone for coming today. We really appreciate you coming out. I know it's a big sacrifice getting away from school and getting further behind. It's true, it's not such a sacrifice. But no, we really appreciate you coming out here. I know this is the first step. This is the beginning of an experience that I think you're all going to appreciate for a long time. This is, I think, Alan, fifth year for doing this program, and there's been some great experiences, some great results. Last year, for the local competition, we had Bellefonte class come in first with a great presentation. And then at the state level, we had State High come in first for the state of Pennsylvania. So that was great for our little area here. I think there's great precedent out there that all of you can follow. I think more than anything, though, what I've seen over these years is the fun that all the participants have had, just trying something different, trying something new, learning about the business world, learning about themselves, what they like to do, what they don't like to do. So I think it's been a great experience for our local community here. Down the road, we're hoping this will lead to more businesses that start up, which will help all of you have something to do in life, but also to build employment in our area and keep a vibrant, diverse economy, more than just big blue downstream. So thanks for all of you for coming. I'm going to do a quick introduction for Alan Darr. Alan is more or less our founder for this program. We owe him a lot of gratitude for getting this started. Alan is a long-time entrepreneur. He's started several companies. In your packets, there's bios for all of the speakers that are here today. And Alan, as you'll see, listed on his bio are only some of the companies that he's been involved with that started or developed. Everything from medical to construction and marketing. So he's been a great addition to our community, has a lot of great experience. And with that, Alan, let you talk about our next speaker.
I'm just glad we were able to pull this off. The snow days, 2 of them to overcome. I really appreciate everybody making an extra effort to be here. A lot of perseverance by Carolyn to pull all this together and get a date that would work as a backup. But I'm really excited about the format we have today, because prior to this, it had been primarily a collegiate curriculum. And today, our presenters all have their feet firmly in the real world, dealing with businesses and so forth on a regular basis. Superintendent Pottinger is spent some time in the private industry, and I know she does a lot of outreach on the position of superintendent. We've had teacher input and past experiences that helped us get an all-star lineup here of good experiences to share with you. And you're going to learn a lot from these folks. You're going to have the basic tools that you need to develop the fundamentals of a business plan. As you'll learn, it's an ongoing process, so you're never done with your business plan. You're always trying to make it better. We're going to have little breakout sections where we'll be together as work groups, and presenters will be floating around, able to answer questions, maybe help you get your thoughts put together. And we're also going to video this session, thanks to Bellefonte and their staff there. I'd like to make a special thanks to Carolyn for, I think she's done approximately 3 dozen trips to this area just to get this set up, and a lot of phone calls and emails. To Dan, Leary, and Brenda, and Ben Franklin's staff for helping to make this happen at Innovation Park. It's kind of exciting to be here versus CPI, because you're going to get a brief tour of the incubators and actually get to talk to some startup businesses later on. So the CDT is involved, and we have some excellent sponsors. One of our key sponsors is Bob Irvin and Videon, and he'll make these speaking very shortly. And Todd's had a very busy few days. He's a keynote speaker Friday to a major entrepreneurial event. sponsor for the hackathon over this weekend, and many other things to support the local entrepreneurial community. Tom Mers cannot be here. Lion Country Kia and Fulton Bank have been long-term sponsors of this event for many years. I don't know. Yeah, 10 years or more. And Tom's unable to be there, but Fulton and to keep Lion Country Kia, Tom Mers, fund this in other regions as well as here. So they certainly believe in this process. Without further ado, I'd like Todd to lead on.
Thanks. First, a big huge kudos to Alan Dark, because he's the guy that makes this happen. So let's all start out with him. So, you know, I gotta tell you, this is a really exciting day. It's an exciting day because when I look at the presenters that are going to be around you, you have the people that present for Techcelerator here up at Ben Franklin. You have Perry Babb, who is very involved with Angel Community. You have Kathleen Werner, who led up the Hack PSU that had 200 people from all over the country hacked for a 24-hour period. You have so many people, so many resources at your fingertips today. Use them. Ask them questions. Really pick their brains, because if you don't, you will have failed. Because these people are the real deal. This is not just a lightweight panel. This is the real deal panel. But you know what? I just used the word fail. And fail is a really important word. And guess what? In where you sit right now, failure is unacceptable. I think that's kind of a shame. Because in my world, failure is acceptable. Let me give you a little story. So when I started my first business, I didn't have this kind of thing behind me. I didn't have a group of network people and sponsors and mentors and things like that. I just quit my job. I started my first company. I didn't know what a business plan was. I didn't know what financing was. I didn't have a clue. I just said, I'm going to start a company. And so you know what? There's a long way to fall when you start from there. When you start from where you guys are, there's not a long way to fall. So guess what happened to my business after 5 years? Some people have heard this story. What happened to my business? Completely collapsed, utter failure, total cataclysmic failure. And you know why it failed? It failed because of me. It failed because I was unprepared. It failed because I didn't figure out what I needed to know. It didn't fail because of anybody else. It didn't fail because of the government. It didn't fail because of the teacher. It didn't fail because of my wife. It didn't fail because of a friend. It failed because of me. At some point in life, you got to man up and just say, it's on me. And that was on me. And so guess what? When I failed, it was a really big hole to dig out of. And so now all of a sudden, I had a choice in life. I had a choice in life where I could either start a new company, or I could write a resume and go back to work for a real world job. Well, the concept of actually working for somebody is just so foreign to me, there's no way. So, I did the only logical thing in my mind. I started a new company. So let me ask you a question here. I just want you to consider this. How many of you, right now, if really it came push to shove, could get your hands on $3,500? If you really had to, could you get that money? Yeah. If you really tried, you could. Could you borrow it from a parent? Could you borrow it from a friend? Could you borrow it? Yes. Could you find a nice banker? Maybe. I said nice banker. No disrespect. John's a nice banker. Ooh, oxymoron. Anyway. We can tell. I don't even like these. Somebody beat that. I do love candy. I love icing the best on cupcakes. I love cupcakes. So anyway, now let's say that you have $3,500. Well, that's what I did. I went out and I got $3,500. And what did I do with $3,500? I bought a ticket to Silicon Valley. I went out to Silicon Valley. I knocked on doors. I said to people, look, if you'll buy services from me, I will charge you a very, very low rate, and all you have to do in return to get those services is send me a check for $5,000. So guess what? 2 weeks later, $10,000 showed up. 4 weeks later, $50,000 showed up. 6 months later, $500,000 showed up. $3,500 translated into $500,000 in 6 months. And why? Why? Because very simple. Life is very logical. When you fail, you can either sit there wallowing in your own self-pity, or you can pick yourself up and go forward. And all I did was I decided to pick myself up, go forward, and drive through life looking out the windshield of life. Very, very, very simple. So, it translated into a successful company, and I'm very, very proud of Videon. And I'm proud of what we've done, but I'm also very mindful that I got here because people helped me. And now it's my turn, in some way, shape, or form, to help people like you. So today, you're going to start on this process of learning about business, writing a business plan, doing the things that are necessary to figure out if this is who you want to be. I have a couple of requests for you. The first thing that I want to say is, don't treat this lightly. You have people that are amazing, people that have helped me be who I am, people that have helped so many people be who they are. Take this very seriously. Second thing that I ask of you today, reach far. Reach very far. Reach as far as you possibly can on your business. Some of you are going to find out something about yourself over the next few weeks and months. You're going to find out that, yes, I want to start a business. Great. Some of you are going to say, no way, this isn't for me. But set the bar very high to figure out who you are, who you want to be. The next thing I want you to do is, as you enter into this, I want you to take a very, very simple statement. Be the person that you dream of being today, not the person you're assigned to be. You're no longer today, you're no longer in high school. Erase that. This room is a group of equals. We're all business people today. And that's where we should start from. I don't care if you're in 9th grade, 12th grade, what school you go to, what your background, I really don't care. We're all business people. And as part of the business community, we're part of a fraternity that we support one another. So today's the day to establish the base, to be the person you dream of being, not the person you're assigned to be. Because if you do this, and you think big, and you dream of being something amazing, and you use these resources today, amazing things could truly happen. You know, so many of you are going to think, wow, you know, I hear this, but I don't know that I really get it. And that's okay, because one person talking to you for 5-10 minutes is not going to change your life. All I want to do is I want to build one more little brick for you to do something amazing in life. Because I will bet that each of you are going to be better prepared, smarter, more understanding of what it takes to run a business than I ever was at your age, let alone at when I started my first company. And if that's the case, if you're better prepared, you can move faster, you're better educated on all this, you should be a better business person than me. So here's the deal. Use it. Use it today. Because you know what? There's only one person in life that's going to prevent you from doing something amazing. Who's that person? It's yourself. It's yourself. So many people go through life saying, I wish, I should have, I could have, and you know what? They're going to blame it on everybody but themselves. Be the person that doesn't blame it on anybody else. Be the person that recognizes that you yourself, right here, right now, can make that change and can do something that's so unbelievable. I really hope that out of today that some entrepreneurial spirit is really brewing forth. I hope that some of you start companies. I have to tell you, I've been the judge on some of the panels before, and I will say this. Business ideas that have come from this group I have found to be better, more grounded, more solid than the business plans I typically hear from Penn State students. You guys are real deal. You guys have it in you to do something amazing. So use it today, use your resources, dream of being that person you dream of being, and remember this, your number one impediment is right here. Don't let it be that impediment. Don't let yourself be that person that gets to the end of your career saying, what happened? Be the person that gets to the end of your career ultimately and says, wow, I changed the world. Ladies and gentlemen, good luck today. Thank you for taking a couple of minutes to listen to me. I hope nothing but success for each of you. And as every entrepreneur will say to you, if there's anything I can ever do for you, tell me, because we are a fraternity together. Thank you very much. Good luck.
Thank you very much, Todd. That was great. I think, if anything, maybe a good example of what Todd was talking about here this morning was an example from our guys last year from State High who did not win the local competition, not necessarily failure, but still went back, adjusted everything they had done the first round, and went back and won the state competition. So you can continually learn from what you're doing and keep improving. All right, so keeping on schedule here, our next speaker, Don.
Why don't we just let this group come in and
Okay.
filter in the seats while we're queuing up the next speaker?
Sounds good. Lotiger is the superintendent of the Bellefonte School District, and we're happy to have her here this morning. She's been successful in her career, as you can see from her bio. And the thing that she's going to talk about this morning is how to plan to succeed. And I think that's a great starting point that can guide you through the different sections we're going to talk about. And also to remind you that in your packet, the goal for today is to start working through this document, which is titled Entrepreneurship Challenge. And Cheryl is going to be talking about bullet point number 2. So if you want to think about that while you're listening to her presentation, I think that could be helpful. So, number 2 is...
Oh, okay, I remember this. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Tenured first grade. Good morning, boys and girls. Good morning. Whatever my name is.
Hi.
Okay, I need you back in high school again. One of the things that you're probably thinking is, why did they ask the superintendent of the school district to come here and talk about business? How many of you actually believe that schools are businesses? Okay, good. I'm going to change your mind in a minute. Okay, basically what you have is, in your book, this is a really nice book, by the way, whoever did this was wonderful, but there are 3 basic themes. So what, who cares, and why you? And that's why I said to Carol, I said, why me? She said, because you can inspire, you can motivate, you can talk fast, you'll get done quick. So believe me, I will try to entertain as I move along. One of the things for education that I think of, and this is why education is such a big business, and K through 12 is a huge business. How many customers do you think I start off with when I walk in the door? Anybody have an idea?
Probably 5,000.
In our school district, close to 3. In State College, close to 8. In Penns Valley, close to 2. Bald Eagle, similar to those kinds of things. So we have a customer base, much bigger than that. If I go a little larger, let's talk about the community, the parents, the grandparents, the aunts and uncles, and everybody that loves to hate you as an administrator. So everybody loves my voice in the morning, don't you, ladies and gentlemen? I say school is closed. They were happy yesterday. I was not. I was at work and sitting at my desk by 7 o'clock and didn't leave till 4 in the afternoon and went home and worked till 9 o'clock last night. Did this PowerPoint at 7 a.m. this morning till 6 o'clock. So you'll know that it's quick. It'll be easy to understand. But business is big in education. I'm not talking the universities, and I'm not talking, your private colleges. I'm talking K through 12 education is huge. My client base right now is about 14,000. That includes all the parents, the grandparents, the aunts and uncles, people that live in their community, the businesses that pay taxes to me, or to the school district, and my students, who are the most important customers. So we talk about that. So we have demands for quality education and excellent customer service. I'm a freak with customer service. You're going, customer service in schools. Anytime you visit one of my schools, when you visit and you put your name down to sign in to my school, you get a customer satisfaction survey sent to you by email to rate how we did that. Not only that, I give a chance for people to commend people for doing good jobs of helping them, and I make sure I acknowledge those. So to me, that's huge. And as you go through business, I don't care what business you start, who you talk to, how successful you are. If you do not have good customer service, you won't keep business. Understand, customer service is key to everything. You think of quality education, you think, I got a schedule, it's kindergarten to 12th grade, I'm going to do 13 years in this place, I'm going to college, I'm going to be successful, this is what I'm going to do. I have no clue what I'm going to do. I have kids that get out of school, go to college for 4 years, 6 years, parents have a parent plus loan, you have a loan, you walk out and go, I don't know what I want to be when I grow up. And you have degrees in your hands. So that's good. I have nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with colleges or trade schools or any of that. But it's what's inside your head and your motivation to do well that will succeed. If you think test quizzes and homework, I don't see any of that. I don't see any of that in academic education. And it's the blah, blah, blah. You know, wah, wah, and the teacher's talking to Charlie Brown. What education should be, and it doesn't stop in the classroom, it doesn't stop at the school district, it doesn't stop in post-secondary, it doesn't stop in the trade school, it doesn't ever stop. Because education should be challenging, it should be fun, it should be exciting, collaborative, and problem solving. We are the best problem solvers in the world. Do you know that? You think, you hear all this stuff, Chinese people, kids have a better education, they do well, they do better in math, they do better in science. Do you know that they study us because we have the highest entrepreneurial piece in the entire world? Not the United States, not Pennsylvania, I'm talking the world. They want to know what we do better. They do the academics better, supposedly, but we do the ideas better. All of the ideas that are generated come from the United States. Are you aware of that? You can do the research, trust me, I'm not lying. We are the hotbed of development. It's our brains and the way we think, maybe the way we were raised, that we have the freedom to become entrepreneurial in our relationships with the world, with businesses, with schools, with everybody. Customer service, that's a major, major part of my job. That is all I preach. You can ask the teacher that came with my students today. That's all I talk about is customer service. Customer service, customer service. If I get a bad report that customer service was bad, I'm in the classroom talking to that teacher, or that custodian, or that secretary. We have a little heart-to-heart. And their attitude changes a whole lot, because if they don't do what I need them to do to have good customer service, I don't need them. And they have to understand that. I don't care if they're certified. I don't care if they're the best bio teacher in the world, but if you can't treat people well, they're not going to learn from you. They're just not going to. So customer service will be key in any business you start. And if you keep that on the forefront and you constantly meet the needs of your people and your customers, you're going to keep your businesses going on. Competition. If you think there's no competition in education, try again. I'm going shortly to meet with the governor of Pennsylvania. Anybody know who that is? Tom Corbett. Not my favorite man in the world. You know why? Because it wants to privatize education. Oh, but that's business. Yeah, but it's business. And if you look at the private businesses in education, the charter schools, some of them are not doing well. Some of them are doing well, but there's a lot that aren't, and they're not held at the same level. So he wants to privatize everything. He wants to privatize alcohol and liquor, and he wants to do a lot of things. So putting me in a room with him at 10 o'clock is probably not wise. I think he has Secret Service, because I always see those little earbuds in. So we'll worry about that later. If you get a call, come get it. All right. So, and it's about competition. We are constantly competing against private schools. I pay $1.6 million a year out of our budget for charter schools. That's a lot of money. Anybody want $1.6 million in their pocket? I'd like to keep it back in my budget. I can do more with educational pieces. But that's what I pay out of my budget every year to charter schools, to privatize institutions. And he wants to make it more private. I don't think that's a good thing. So one of the things I want you to see is, I talk to my staff about starting a movement. When you start business, you're going to want to start a movement. It might be a small group, it could be a huge group, but there's a movement that always has to take place on that. I want you to watch this. This is about starting a movement. I love this video. Staff has seen this, and we can turn it.
If you've learned a lot about leadership and making a movement, then let's watch a movement happen start to finish in under 3 minutes and dissect some lessons. First, of course, a leader needs the guts to stand alone and look ridiculous. But what he's doing is so simple, it's almost instructional. This is key. You must be easy to follow. Now here comes the first follower with a crucial role. He publicly shows everyone else how to follow. Notice how the leader embraces him as an equal. So it's not about the leader anymore. It's about them, plural. Notice how he's calling to his friends to join in. So it takes guts to be a first follower. You stand out and you brave ridicule yourself. Being a first follower is an underappreciated form of leadership. The first follower transforms a lone nut into a leader. If the leader is the flint, the first follower is the spark that really makes the fire. Now here's the second follower. This is a turning point. It's proof the first has done well. Now it's not a lone nut and it's not two nuts. 3 is a crowd and a crowd is news. A movement must be public. Make sure outsiders see more than just the leader. Everyone needs to see the followers because new followers emulate followers, not the leader. Now here come 2 more people, then 3 more immediately. Now we've got momentum. This is the tipping point, and now we have a movement. As more people jump in, it's no longer risky. If they were on the fence before, there's no reason not to join in now. They won't stand out, they won't be ridiculed, and they will be part of the in crowd if they hurry. And over the next minute, you'll see the rest who prefer to stay part of the crowd, because eventually they'd be ridiculed for not joining. And ladies and gentlemen, that is how a movement is made. So let's recap what we've learned. If you are a version of the shirtless dancing guy, all alone, remember the importance of nurturing your first few followers as equals, making everything clearly about the movement, not you. Be public, be easy to follow. But the biggest lesson here, did you catch it? Leadership is over-glorified. Yes, it started with the shirtless guy, and he'll get all the credit, but you saw what really happened. It was the first follower that transformed a lone nut into a leader. There's no movement without the first follower. See, we're told that we all need to be leaders, but that would be really ineffective. The best way to make a movement, if you really care, is to courageously follow and show others how to follow. When you find a lone nut doing something great, have the guts to be the first person to stand up and join in.
So you're probably wondering why I did that. I played that too. But really, business is about leadership. Building your own business is about leadership. Getting people to like your product or to follow you, or these people here that today are going to try to get you to follow them. Leadership is key, and the movement, the dancing shirtless guy, which I played for my staff, and they laughed. It was a good thing. They could broke the ice a little bit. But the thing is that it's true. You have to get people interested. It's just like getting people interested in your product. Know your audience. Know what they need. You're going to go through a lot of that. This book is done really well. I scanned it real quickly, got through a bunch of it. And the bottom line is that what you have in there, listen to these people. There are kids that I know that have started businesses in high school that are successful entrepreneurs right now, making millions in different areas of the country and the state of Pennsylvania where I work. Starting a business in Wile E. Coyote. How many people know Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner? Who likes Wile E. Coyote? Who likes the Roadrunner? Hands. Put them up high. Don't be. Okay. Here's the difference between. It seems like the Roadrunner always wins this bet, doesn't it? Right? Roadrunner always gets away. But the big thing is this guy never stops, and persistence is the word I'm going to leave with today as I move through this. Persistence, persistence, persistence. You know how to do that. You wanted the Xbox when it came out. Your parents couldn't afford it. You bugged and you bugged and you bugged and you bugged until I said, fine, get them the stupid Xbox and shut them up. That's what they do, right? Did you do that? My kids did. Say yes. I know you did that kind of stuff. If you want the car, you want your license, or take me driving, or do whatever it is. But persistence is going to be key.
I did do that.
Starting a business, you have to have the ideas. Listen to these people today. Planning is key. You can't overrate planning. If you don't plan well, you won't function. If I don't function in my job if I don't plan, the teachers don't function in theirs, kids don't function if you don't plan in your academics. But when you start a business, planning is so essential. And persistence. Keep that word in mind, because Coyote, believe it or not, made Acme very rich because he went to Acme all the time to buy all his supplies. They had a great business going on with him, but he did stop. I don't know where he got his money, but it's all right. Persistence and chasing the dream. That was his dream. All he wanted was a stupid Roadrunner. I had no idea if they even eat those things, but he chased them forever, and I don't know how many of those shows you've watched. Sometimes when you come up with an idea and you start your business, sometimes it works, and you get what you want, you get your goal. Sometimes it doesn't. Okay? That doesn't mean you stop. Sometimes you may fall flat in your face. Sometimes you want to give up. And this guy, I'm talking persistence. Don't. And I hate when this happens, when people give up. I tell kids this all the time, I tell teachers this all the time, I tell my administrative staff, my own children, people I know that are friends of mine that are in business that are starting, do not give up. Don't let this happen. Say, I hate this, and stop. You have to be persistent. Don't even think it. Okay? Growing your business. You have to always know how to improve your product when you finally start it. Once you get an idea, it doesn't mean, oh, that's the end all be all, we're done. Because the next biggest and better thing is around the corner. So you have to think of an idea that you can grow. Not something that you can start as small as one little thing, but you have to constantly look for ways to improve your product. You have to look for ways to improve your customer service. Even though people like you, your friends will come, they'll buy your stuff, they'll be in your business, you'll live in the town you grew up in, people might know you. That gets old fast, by the way. When other businesses come in and there's better customer service, and there's other things to look at. Don't ever stop growing what you do. This is called an incubator program. Basically, you start your business. That doesn't mean feed it once in a while and hopefully it takes off. That means you have to be persistent, stay after it. I can't stress customer service enough. Customer service will make or break you in business. The best idea can be there. If you don't have the customer service, I'll tell you what, I don't know how many products I've dropped or how many services I have dropped because of customer service. When I get somebody on the phone, they say, well, I don't have time to talk to you now. I go, that's good because you just lost business. And I pick up the phone and I pick up the next one and I'm buying a different service. I just did it to an insurance company yesterday. They said, but they're more expensive. I said, when they called back, they said, okay. I told them who I went with. They said, but they're more expensive. I said, but their customer service is top notch. I want the service because I want to pick up the phone and be able to handle what I need to handle. Your customers will want the same thing. 2 minutes? Asking for help. Never be afraid to ask for help. You have the people here to do that with. Looking for the next best thing. Always do that. And persistence is going to pay off. So, living the dream. There's your coyote. He's always living the dream. You are the next best business. You are the super genius. You are the people in this room that will make a difference to me, to my children, to my grandchildren, and to the people in this community, or even outside of this community. So, listen carefully today. Be persistent when you decide to do what you want to do. Make sure your customer service is intact. And how many people still think that education is not a business? How many people think it is? Thank you. Have a great day.
I have to stop you for a second. On behalf of Carolyn, we have to present
Feed
this
me.
lovely basket for you. And in particular, I think that this is important for you.
No coffee anywhere.
No.
Remember, always have coffee.
Maybe scoop it for that.
For that meeting. Thank you so very much. Have a great day. And I'll stop in to see you guys to see how it's going.
All right, thanks again, Cheryl. All right, introducing our next speaker is Perry Babb. I have to admit, I haven't known Perry for that long, but known him now for a couple of years, and he's a great addition to our business community. And I think one of the things he's a great example of is taking his own initiative, carving out a niche in this business community that's been benefiting all of us. Perry's been instrumental in starting several companies, so he's living what he's talking about. But beyond that, he's also been very active in taking a leadership role in moving this community forward, pulling together the different resources.
Good morning. I thought just take maybe 6 or 7 minutes, and that'll help you guys to do this schedule a little bit. if the objective here is for you to be able to develop a good business plan, I just recognize some of the guys here in the front. Let me give you a couple of bits of that. I've got several companies, about 60 employees. There's a variety of companies. I have a graphic design and marketing company, I have a construction company, insulation, related energy equipment company. I just started a new company recently, having to do with converting vehicles to natural gas. My kids work for me, and I turned over some of those companies to them. That's my area. Before that, I did all nonprofit work, did humanitarian aid outside the country for about 20 years, and helped to start some businesses in some other places. So if the objective this morning is for you to, is to help you build a good business plan, the question I need to help speak to just for a second is how your business is unique. And if you're going to return there and make a couple of notes as we're going along, the majority of you in the room are probably going to start a business, or your plan is going to be related to a business that's a service business. And actually, the majority of the U.S. economy since the 60s has been a service economy. As opposed to making something, we are providing some kind of service. And so it would just stand to reason that the majority of the businesses that we propose be service businesses. It might be providing consulting on software, or it might be providing a new business that does haircuts and or manicures and pedicures, these kind of things. My wife likes to go and get manicures and pedicures. It just freaks me out. I don't know what it is about somebody messing with my toes. It could be a good business. A lot of people are making money off of that. Go for it. So let me just say a couple of things about, you need to ask yourself, starting this kind of business, some tough questions. And that specifically here, is it a unique business? And by unique, it might not mean you're the only pedicurist, is that the right term? In the county, all right? But is there some way you can make the brand unique, the emphasis unique, the types of services within that brand you deliver, and then probably most likely is how you can make the delivery of that service unique. I heard somebody say, and then I've known now in my own life the last 8 or so years of doing business, and most of my companies are service businesses. But you know how you be successful in a service economy? If you want to write, this will make you $1 million. How you, if you're a contracting company, or if you're a hairstyle company, or whatever it might be like that, to be successful, here's what you have to do. Ready? Return phone calls. If somebody calls you, return the phone call. Number one. Number two, if you make a mistake, which you're going to make a mistake, your customer service is going to fall apart somehow, you fix your mistake. That's number two. Number three, you make a promise of what you're going to do, and you keep that promise. Now, doesn't that sound just revolutionary? Well, it is revolutionary because you ask these guys doing business, especially by, there's not many people doing that. If you provide that kind of service as a garage, or as a tech company, you will beat 90, is that a fair statement? You will beat 90% of your competition if you return phone calls and answer emails. And it doesn't sound very glamorous, but that can be all the uniqueness that your business needs. So you have to ask yourself a tough question. What's unique about my business? Well, you know it's not the only garage in the area, the only people with this tech consultation you're going to do. But you can make it unique by the brand. The brand is a brand is basically a place for you to hang your vision. Think of it that way. You put out a shingle, you put out a sign of what your business is. That brand is where you hang your vision. And so it's very important what you name your business. Branding is very important. And that in itself is going to have a message and could convey your uniqueness. So just being willing to ask yourself a tough question. You know what? My first company that I started by accident about 8 years ago was a cleaning company. I started completely by accident. was going to an athletic club in State College, and the service was, it was dirty all the time, the machines were broken. I kept writing a little complaint to the manager, you're gonna go out of business, too much competition. And I'm writing my third complaint, and I hand it to her, and this young girl was managing for somebody outside the state, and she starts to cry. And I feel terrible. I'm not being mean about it. I'm saying, you are going out of business because the service was so bad. She said, I don't know what to do. So I went and worked out, and I thought, well, I've got teenage sons. I'll start a business with them, and they can clean and fix. This guy up here works for me, by the way. I can clean and fix. He makes $10 an hour. Yeah. And that's good for women in the company, right? We pay guys well, we expect a lot. They're all handsome like him. He sings, by the way. He's a singer. He's going to be a millionaire. Everybody told him he's going to be a millionaire. Where was that? Somebody help me. For the company. And so I said, I've got teenage sons. I'll form a little company, and we'll paint, clean, and fix up. Well, I was shocked when I started running into other business colleagues that were fed up with cleaning companies. I mean, fed up. And I was shocked, number two, you can make money from it. And so I made a little pamphlet, and we started making some promises and passing those out to people. And now that company takes care of 100 buildings in 8 or 9 counties. And it's just because we would solve a problem, deliver some service that somebody else would. There's a lot of cleaning companies. Doesn't sound very glamorous, though, but that was $1 million company last year, that cleaning company. So when you see a cleaning company go by, don't turn your nose down at it too quickly. There might be a millionaire driving that truck. Come on, preach it now. So ask yourself a tough question about your business. Is it unique? It doesn't have to be the only hairstylist or only company, but there's some way you need to deliver service, make a brand that you need. And we're trying to build a good business plan. If you intend that the delivery of whatever product or service that you're going to practice those basic values of integrity, you're going to be successful. Right now, and he makes medical devices, historic things that really help people. And it goes back to those same simple little things. Keep your promise. When you mess up, fix it, admit it, return phone calls and emails. You're going to do okay. That was pretty good for 10 minutes. So I think that's all I have to say. As the other guys have said, if anything I can do to help you.
We were trying to go, we were stealing their market share. And we call customers up and I talk to them and they say, wow, you guys called us back. I call those other guys and they won't even return our call. And the same thing happens here locally, just like Cheryl mentioned. I've had it happen with plumbers, I've had it happen with people trying to buy water softener, I've had it happen with banks, right? It's like, look, I'm trying to give you my money, and they won't even call me back. So call people back. The other thing, I'll bet you didn't know, not only are you going to get all sorts of great ideas from this, but if Perry stayed for any longer, he'd have you all dates before you left the room. Right? So it's a little known fact of what Perry does. He's trying to imagine what Perry does. So. Anyway, so I'm going to get us back to wherever we're supposed to be on time. We're going to cover a couple topics. First one is primarily target market and size of market. Especially the size of market seems to be a sticking point for a lot of people. So you came in here with an idea, right? So every team has an idea of what you think you're going to do. Right? So the question is, who's going to buy your service? And you might think, well, everyone. Right? I've heard this multiple times downstairs as people come in and share their business out. We're going to be the next Google. Oh, we're just like Facebook, only better. Everybody's going to buy it. So there's pros and cons. If you sell something like sliced bread, what's the good news about that? It's bread. Okay, good. Man, you guys are rock stars, I'll tell you what. Okay, everybody needs bread, right? So what's the bad news? A lot of competition. Okay, a lot of people out there doing that. How do you differentiate? Well, ours has poppy seeds. Oh, that could be big. Okay, but you have to think of something. If you're selling a product that's targeted to everybody, how are you going to differentiate that? Harry was saying customer services. Was there much customer service with bread? You know, the bread, the crust is all crumbled up, and you're going to call the store or the wife and say, hey, can you smooth this crust out? You know, it's It's not fitting on a toaster. So you have to figure out. Good news, big market. Everybody could want some. Bad news, a lot of competition, difficult to differentiate, and that's where you need to focus your business efforts. What about this? What if you're focusing on left-handed Lithuanian barbers? What happened, right? Maybe you got a special pair of left-handed scissors. You got instructions written on them in Lithuanian. Okay, what's the good news about this? Unique, okay? Something unique, okay? There are a lot of left-handed Lithuanian barbers out there that need scissors, special scissors. Maybe. Okay, it could happen. Okay, but what's the downside of that? The size of the market. Right? You know, the people out there are really looking. If I'm going to get my hair cut, right, whatever's left, I don't know if I'm looking for a specialized Lithuanian left-handed barber. Okay. Unless he's like Harry and he'll set me up with a date or something, or a completely different business model. I wouldn't recommend it. Okay. But good news and bad news, but you have to decide who's going to buy your product. You try and be specific. Are there enough people out there to buy it from you? So really that comes down to segmentation. People sometimes have a difficult time with segmentation. There's a bunch of different things that they could be. Okay, you look at the demographics. Depending on what your product or service is, are there different ages, right? Maybe it's somebody really old, okay, like me or John or something like that, okay? Or maybe it's somebody young. Maybe it's somebody younger than you guys. Okay, maybe you're pitching a product to toddlers. It's the jamboree, jumble bus, or whatever that thing is that's going around. That's
Tumble
Tumble bus. There we go. Jumble bus. Yeah. I get confused. Okay, so different ages, maybe different income levels. Okay, people at different income levels buy different things, and you can target different income levels. We'll look later about how you segment the market, how you get this information. But you can look at different neighborhoods. People that live in different neighborhoods can afford different size of houses, which means they may have a different income, which may be they are a target market. Maybe family size, okay, large family, small family, different education levels. If you're going to pitch college, it's the people that haven't gone to college, perhaps. Maybe it's people that understand college. Maybe they don't want to go to college. Genders. Is there any difference between genders? Give me an example, clothing-wise. What's the difference clothing-wise between genders?
How about bra?
Okay. You might or may not
I don't
be
get
a
it.
sports bra. Okay. What else? Give me another gender difference. Women pay more, right? Women pay more. Dresses, okay? Hair care products. How many guys here spent more than 36 seconds doing their hair this morning? Okay. No way. How many ladies spent more than 36 seconds doing their hair this morning? I would guess all of you. Okay. Rough estimate. Okay. Nationality or race, you can segment from that, and then religion. Okay. Religious products, non-religious products. Okay. Who are you targeting? Different religions. Okay. So those are basic demographics. If I have a product or service, who within, maybe there's multiples, right? So I can have older, more affluent males. Okay. Or maybe I have non-Christian, female, small families. But you need to start to understand that so you can narrow in, because that will affect how you reach these people, how you target them with your marketing, your advertising, your sales efforts. Maybe it's by geography. Okay, you can have local, you can have regional, national, international. Are you starting a retail business and you're going to get people that are in Bellefonte or State College or Queens Valley? Is it something that's countywide? Okay, maybe it's a doctor's service or something like that. Is it national or international? Businesses that I've been involved with didn't have local business, but we had national business and we had international business. So we had to understand the different language barriers and the different cultural differences. Okay, so understanding what your market is going to be, and then within that region, how much business is there. We'll talk about that in a little bit. And what about climate? Okay, is there much business for snowplows down in Daytona Beach? Yeah, not unless they're moving the beach around right after a storm or a hurricane or something like that. But you may have a business that is climate-based. There are people that have winter-based business in terms of snow removal. Some of those in the summer go into landscaping, okay, or different architecture. Okay, so the climate may be affected by your region, and then you can also tag on some demographics on top of that. There's also behaviors, okay? Some people have brand loyalty. How many people have Apple products? Phones? Who has a non-Apple phone? Why do you have a non-Apple phone? Okay, cheaper, right? Why? Who has an Apple phone? Why do you have an Apple phone?
I know how to use that.
How do you use it? Is it popular? Is it because it syncs with your iTunes that you have on your computer? Okay, maybe you just think Apple's cool. I don't know. Could be. But people are brand loyal, right? Maybe it's some semblance of quality. That's, if you can't see it, that's a Rolex. You know, I've only seen pictures of them. I've never touched one because I can't afford it, right? But the appearance of quality could be in watches, could be in glasses, could be in vehicles and cars. Okay? There's different behaviors that sometimes are not rational while you buy things. And then there's even less rational things called psychographic, right? You have different personality types. Maybe you're very vain, egocentric person and you like to buy the biggest, meanest, monster truck out there or something versus the tiny little commuter car because you like that feeling of power or something, okay? There's different lifestyles. Maybe you're a skateboarder and you like Vans shoes. Or maybe you wish you were a skateboarder. And if you wear the shoes, people will think you're a skateboarder and then they'll be like Perry and try and get a date for you or something. I don't know. Okay. There's different reasons why you wear different brands. And no one can tell. These are very difficult sometimes to profile and to reach, or to understand what makes different trends. Why are certain colors popular? Why are certain patterns popular? Why are bands popular? I don't know, maybe they are anymore. Or maybe you have different interests. You have people that are interested in arts and crafts. You have people that are interested in sports. You have people that are interested in outdoor activities. So you can combine all of these different special interests and try and figure out who's going to buy your product. Maybe it's by industry. Anybody heard of Marcellus Shale? Okay, oil and gas. Big boom. Okay, some of the businesses are moving further west because of the types of the wells, the price of the gas, and the type of the gas. Yeah, but maybe you have something that's specifically for the oil and gas industry. Maybe you're going to service those heavy trucks that are taking the fracking fluids and the water in and out. Maybe you're doing something with businesses that have been starting to put pads around some of the wells. And that's just for, say, the oil and gas industry. What other industries are in your area where you try to start your business? Okay, it's locally here. Who's the largest employer in Center County? Penn State, right? So you can there's a captive market there. They're the largest employer. Maybe their employees want something. What's Penn State not giving them that maybe I can offer as a business service? Okay, so education is an industry. As Cheryl said earlier this morning, it's a business. Are you pitching towards consumers or are you pitching towards other businesses? So if I'm selling sliced bread, I'm going after the consumer market. Everybody wants something that's something that everybody needs. But businesses, maybe I sell accounting software. Is the average consumer going to want accounting software? Probably not, right? So you have to position it differently, you have to look at the marketing differently, you have to try and figure out how you're going to get it into their hands a little bit differently. Maybe high end or low end. Maybe are you pitching to people that own these types of houses or these little grass hop houses? Okay. This goes back to lifestyle, demographics, income levels. Okay, but there's high end luxury markets and then there's low end primitive markets. There are people that like to not live in a grass hut. Okay, but maybe they like a little simplified, more simplified lifestyle. Maybe they're retiring. Maybe they're trying to get rid of their possessions and move south. Moving out of Center County, they're going to move to Hilton Head and do something different with their life. Okay? But I don't think it's going to be a grass hut in Hilton Head, but, simplify. So you have to figure out with your idea who's the target market, who has the most pain, right? Because if somebody's in pain, they try and make the pain stop. And often you can get them to pay money to make the pain stop. It doesn't have to be physical pain. It has to be something difficult in your business. Or who has the most to gain? Can you show somebody how to make more money in their current business? Can you show them how to get dates, right? If you use this hair product, man, you're going to look great. You go to prom, you're probably going to get more dates the next year. Okay? Anyway, pain or gain? Who has the most pain or gain? Those are people who want to target. But who has the money? It's nice if somebody's in pain. It's not nice if they're in pain. But if they have a pain that you're trying to serve, That's good, you can target them, but do they have any money? Do they have a budget to spend it on? Are they willing and authorized to spend money on the solution? Right? You can come and pitch a product to me, but I don't have any authorization to spend anything. Because my wife manages the finances, right? And I get my $6 a week that I'm about to spend on my sandwiches, right, when I go to work. And I have to ask permission, right? So I might be willing, I might have the budget family-wise, but I'm not authorized maybe to spend it. A lot of businesses are like that, right? The people that are at the bench level or on the street might not, they might have a problem, but they aren't authorized to spend above a certain amount. So you have to figure out who's willing and authorized. So you want to be specific. Instead of saying everyone, maybe I'm pitching all students, you want to narrow that down, saying I'm going to go for the top quartile of accounting students at universities in Pennsylvania. That's pretty specific, okay? And that will help you narrow down your marketing, your sales activities, maybe the features and benefits of the product that you're trying to sell, based on what the needs of this specific group is versus just students. Okay? So let's look at that kind of as a main case study as to how you would figure out what's the size of your market. It's probably one of the most common things that we hear in an accelerator program with people coming through from businesses is, how am I supposed to know the size of the market? Well, figure it out, right? Let's make it up if we have to. Start somewhere, and we'll try and put data in as we get to it. So if my product is a professional calculator for accounting, right? So when you get into accounting or finance or business classes, you have special functionality in your calculators. So I have a $42 calculator, and my target is accounting students at Pennsylvania universities and colleges. Okay? What's the size of my market? I don't know. So, how would you go about doing this? Let's use Penn State as an example. How many undergraduates are there at Penn State? 35,000. Public information, okay? Right off the internet. How many students in the Smeal College of Business? 5,092. Also public information right off the internet. How many accounting students in Accounting 211? The largest accounting class in the university. Many of them then go on to become accounting majors where they need it for some other requirements. There's 2,100 students of the 5,000 in Smeal College that take Accounting 211. Okay? Not necessarily public information, but my wife happens to work in the School of Business at the accounting department, so I call them ask her, right? So in 5 minutes, public information in one phone call, I have a rough market size. I'm going to try and get 2,100 students to buy my calculator. So my $42 times my 2,100 students, I'm not going to get all of them. I'm only going to get 10%. Pick a number, right? You might be the great salesman, okay, Cole, maybe you get 30, all right? In my model, $42 times 2,100 times 10%, $8,820 is what I'm going to generate, or I think I can generate from just Penn State accounting students. Now, if you were going to go to market and you thought you could generate $8,000, is that a good idea? It's $8,000 more than you had before, right? Someone will talk later on about break even. Hopefully this is more than it cost you to get the calculators, or to spend on your marketing and spend on your sales and any of your overhead and things like that. But that's just Penn State. You say, well, what about other universities? In Pennsylvania, how many four-year colleges and universities are there in Pennsylvania? Google, right? 44 public, 112 private equals 156 universities. Now, are they all the same size as Penn State? Probably not. Do they have the same undergraduate population? Probably not. But what you can do is you can go and scale them according to what you learned at Penn State, which your numbers are pretty firm. So I can go to Bucknell and say, okay, geez, if I can only find out the number of undergraduates, I can use these proportions to try and figure out how many accounting students maybe they have at their school. And I make a spreadsheet with all the schools that I can find the information. And pretty soon, I say, well, 156 institutions, I'm going to generate $8,800 in each one. I can generate $1.3 million just in Pennsylvania. That's starting to look like a business, right? Perry said, right? He just made a comment and said, geez, I think we should clean this place and bring a business, $1 million business in multiple counties, right? What about other states? Do other states have universities? Yeah. What about do other people need calculators? Right? What about other products? If you need a calculator, what else do you need? If I was going to open your backpack up and you had it, what else is in your How many people have a calculator in your backpack? Okay, what else is in your backpack? Pencils? Batteries? This is a prepared guy. You have a flashlight there too? Flashlight, okay, what else? Sardines?
I keep emergency.
Okay, well,
Emergency.
fight the crowd here. Also looking for Nathan Strong.
Start back.
Anyway, so there's other things that you can sell to accounting students, to university students. So if I'm trying to figure out what's my target market, now I've got something that I'm selling to. Just in Pennsylvania, and if I want to branch out into that territory, a broader territory, I have more opportunity. So you can see, the most common thing people say, I don't know how big the market is. Go online, type in a question, how many are there of X? And just start noodling with it, right? And start putting these facts. Are they perfect? No. We know that they're wrong. When you go in to build your business plan or to work on your model, we know the numbers are wrong as soon as you put them down, right? But they give you a starting point to test your assumptions. And as you move further forward, your numbers get better and you get newer information, more accurate information. Okay, so start somewhere. So the biggest question is, are there enough potential customers to make your business successful? Because when you go and take your business plan to the bank, okay, they're going to say, is there any business out there? If you're selling the, $4 loaves of bread to people that are gluten intolerant and they don't even want bread, right? It's probably not a big enough market that John's going to earn you money. But if you say I've got, $10 million worth of potential revenue in schools within Center County or the contiguous areas, he might give you some money. He might not. But it's one of the questions he's going to ask you. Is your market big enough for anyone to care? So then after you figure out who that target market is specifically, how are you going to market or advertise to them? Traditionally, you're going to go through magazines, you're going to go through newspapers, you're going to go through direct mail, or you're going to go old school, you're going to do radio spots or television spots, you're going to do search engine optimization, and, I'm going to get them on Facebook, I'm going to do social media. There are still other mechanisms other than social media. Right? So I don't want to burst your bubble, right? But you have to use things other than just social media. That's another one of the most common things that we see. A bunch of helpful resources, not just the people here today, but all sorts of statistics that are out there. Industry Planning Office, the Pennsylvania Department of Labor, there's Pennsylvania Industries, there's Federal U.S. Small Business Administration, Census Bureau, there's a Small Business Development Center, which is downstairs, which helps anybody in the county, basically Center and Mifflin counties, with business plan ideas, with testing ideas, with creating business plans and performance. Okay, so use the resources that you have. If you don't know what your market is, call and ask somebody. Right? Okay, we're going to switch gears here. We're going to switch presentations. We're going to go to an elevator pitch.
Hang on, excuse me.
The pitches, and it really should answer the question is, so what, who cares, and why you? Right? At the end of your presentation, your judges shouldn't be like, yeah, so what, and I really don't care. You should answer these questions, especially why you are the ones to be bringing this product or service to market. So you have a business idea. You came here with a business idea. Okay? Talk a little bit about, okay, what is it? What need does it want to satisfy? Is there competition? Okay, Perry touched on it a little bit, but typically there's always a competitor. Okay? Even if you think there's not a competitor, this doing nothing is competition. Right? Not making a change is competition. Is it unique? What's the target market? What's your territory? Okay. So we kind of touched on all those things that you have to consider. Hopefully you have those all figured out. Now you have to tell people about it. Why do you have to tell people about it? So people can buy it, right? Why else? Because you want to make money. The purpose of any business is actually making money and bringing return to their shareholders, right? Makes the bankers happy. Right? So you have to tell, people aren't just going to get it out of your head on their own, right? So we use something, we don't call it a 30-second commercial elevator pitch, we call it a 2-minute stand-up, and you would use the accelerator. But you have to tell all these people, you want to have to convince your family and friends why they should loan you that $3,000 that Todd talked about. Todd went to his dad and said, Dad, I need $3,500 for that plane ticket to Silicon Valley. He said, why? Well, if I had a story to tell,
Get out of the focus.
I could do business. I have to go to bankers. I have to go to investors. Okay, someone like Perry or Alan or Todd or something that might want to invest in your business. They're going to say, well, why should I invest in you? Customers, they're going to give you your money. You have to convince people to work for you, right? You might need a strategic partner. You have people that want to buy things, you want to buy things from. So your message can be used and crafted in all these different ways, in all these different places. But the pitch is just an overview. The pitch isn't necessarily there to seal the deal. Too many times, especially in the technology business, what we see is that people want to obsess about the technology and the idea to tell you how great it is. Most of the time, people don't care about that. They want to know what's it going to do for them, how can they access it. It's just designed to get the conversation started. Right? It's like a teaser. It's an appetizer. So here's how not to do it.
Anyway, like I was saying, shrimp is the food of the season. You can barbecue it, boil it, broil it, bake it, saute it. There's shrimp kebabs, shrimp creole, shrimp gumbo, pan fried, deep fried, stir fried. There's pineapple shrimp, lemon shrimp, coconut shrimp, pepper shrimp, cave shrimp, shrimp stew, shrimp salad, shrimp and potatoes, shrimp burger, cave shrimp. That's about it.
Okay, so if you were going to start your shrimp company, and you ask somebody to give a pitch, would that litany of all the different kinds of shrimp convince you that you should invest in this business or buy it? Probably not, right? But unfortunately, that's what most people do. So what I'm going to give you, I have some handouts for you that you can use throughout the morning. They're how to build your pitch in 8 steps. This is the same template that we give to people in the Accelerator program after the first week when they come in and they give me the Bubba Gump version, right? Which is about their DNA sequencer and the coolest technology and lasers and all sorts of stuff. And 9 minutes later, I have no idea what they're talking about. We say, here's the template. Go back and come in next week. Start here. What's the name of your company? Okay, how many of you think you have a name for your company, even if you forget? Okay. Got to show up with that. What do you do? You guys have an idea of what you do in terms of product or services, right? The specific segment of the market you'll serve. Okay, we just talked about that earlier. Who, what's the problem that it solves for them? It's got to be problem-oriented. One sentence, that why this business is needed and by who, right? Is there a problem out there? Is there evidence? Is there some statistics out there? What's the size or growth trend of the industry? This is where you do your internet research. And if you have to, make something up, right? Semi-credible, right? But at least have something here about my best estimate or my assumption. And people will test you, saying, well, what's that based on? You can say, hey, it's my gut feel based on 5 years working in retail downtown at the Rita's Ice. And I just see there's a need for this. Okay, well, it's better than nothing, right? What are your qualifications to run the business? I worked for 3 years of my summers at Rita's Ice downtown, so I'm fully qualified to run a retail snack shop. Okay, something. And then make an upbeat, honest, substantive, credible claim about the business in terms of sales and profitability. So, in the interest of time, we were going to build one on the fly here, but what we'll do is during the breakout sessions, we'll build some or help build some for you. So we'll just do some examples. Here's one for Whirlybird Yogurt Store. I've got 2 slides of what the first pitch was. So, yogurt store will be poised to take over the competition because our products are the most nutritious and healthy available. The difference is gluten-free products that don't have toxins found in other yogurts. All of our yogurts contain 2 forms of live bacteria, Agaricus and Thermophilus. So, good or bad? Okay, I've got a Kit Kat for somebody that speaks out loud. Good? I don't know if it's good, but you get the Kit Kat, okay? So what's the problems that you might see with this description?
No one really knows what those bacteria are, so why would we care?
Right, why do I care about Bulgaricus and Thermophilus? Okay, it sounds like I'm watching Spartacus on TV. Okay. What about this? Is this credible? We're going to take over the competition because we are the most healthy and nutritious. Based on what? Right? Okay. Continue. Our founder, Ron Smith, he's been eating it for years and credits it with his ability to run 3 marathons a year at age 45. There's more people
Ron Smith's my uncle.
detoxifying powers of bacteria-rich yogurt, whirly birds, business, and soar.
I do actually have one.
So what do you think about this? Ron's pretty good.
It's fine.
Man, he's a machine, right? He eats nothing but yogurt. Okay? What about this? Okay, you think John's going to give you money? Yeah, John, man, this business is going to soar because of the detoxifying powers of bacteria-rich yogurt. You think John cares about yogurt? Right? Even though he's a prime physical specimen. Okay. Yeah, yogurt this morning. See, I'll bet it was whirly bird. So, is this any better? Okay. Each whirly bird store will offer 10 flavors of yogurt and 25 toppings to people within a 5-mile radius, ideal for people who want a healthy snack. What's that do for you?
5 miles.
Okay, gives you a target market. Okay, kind of tells what your territory is. 5-mile radius of somewhere, assuming. Okay. As an example, 300,000 people who live and work in Meadowbrook. Okay, 5-mile radius of Meadowbrook. Won't have to drive for more than 5 minutes to get great yogurt served by friendly people in the sparkling Philly store. What's this do for you? Customer service. Okay. Size of the market. Okay. I don't know how much these things cost, but again, this isn't to seal the deal right then and there. This is like, well, if I'm selling yogurt for $5 a pop, 300,000 people, and they come back twice a week, you can figure that out. So the banker could ask you, well, what's that mean? And frozen yogurt is the fastest growing category in over-the-counter snack foods for 3 years, a year of growth of 17%. Ah, there's a market there. What about Ron? Ron not only is a marathon freak, he has 10 years experience as a regional manager in quick service restaurants, and he's got a growth rate of 1 every 6 months building a business that's profitable from year 1 and surpasses $25 million within 5 years. Okay? So this has the bankers lining up. In fact, we have another one come in the back here just as she heard about this. So, but she works with John, so that doesn't count. Okay? So these are the types of details based on that pitch template that you can put in. Quick one on software. We're almost back on track. So technology is moving fast, and JD Software is the leading edge. Our developers are Web 2.0 certified and developing cloud applications that run asynchronously since Ajax was first introduced. Okay, what's wrong with this picture? Okay, yeah, I have no idea what that is. Okay. What else? Okay, I have a Kit Kat. Actually, no. I got a Reese's.
Kit Kat's better.
The average Joe or Joette, it's difficult to follow. Right? I have no idea what asynchronously cloud application. I have no use Ajax, right? We're back to Smarticus. Okay? I have no idea what Ajax is. We can save thousands of dollars using MySQL if they're tied to Oracle or SQL. We can implement open source middleware to perform data transformation in real time. We have the experience. Our customer saves money. Selling won't be difficult, and it's unlimited. Yeah, give us a number. Right? What's unlimited? Bankers hate to hear that. Okay? Okay, so a little bit better. JD Software provides custom online commerce and back office solutions to business. If I was in business, maybe I would know what that meant. Okay? Because it's a business-to-business sale. So businesses with less than $10 million in sales, right? They're segmented it. They can't afford high prices of big name consulting firms. Okay, so it's a mid-market or lower market player. They'll be eager to drive sales and improve efficiency. Okay, now they can accomplish it with a fraction of time and money required. Hopefully you have statistics to back this up. The founder, John Del Monte, before he made tomato sauce, right, has 8 years experience as senior project manager for EDS, which is another large software company, where he learned how to manage projects. Here's the market, 8,000 small businesses, San Diego. They have revenue from $1 to $10 million, and we're going to be cash flow positive and profitable in less than 12 months. So these are key things when you go to your investors. Where's your cash flow going to come from? When are you going to be profitable? Okay, so I'll just give you an example. This was from a winning pitch from our
2/3 of adults think that traveling would be a fun way to make friends, yet no major travel provider addresses the social aspect of travel. Not Orbitz, not Expedia, not Travelocity. Travel Blender does. It's like a Match.com for friends. Register online for free, tell us about yourself, your ideal travel partners, and where you want to go. Then our unique matching software generates the perfect blend of travel partners, and our travel experts create an unforgettable custom trip. Our revenue comes from commissions on trip sales. Our target is the 68% of adults, 30 to 44, who go on vacation each year. Those who don't enjoy the bar scene or rec leagues. They want to meet people doing things they already like, where they already spend their time and money. With a $50,000 investment, Travel Blender can be cash flow positive in 16 months. We estimate 18-fold investor returns by year 5. We're Travel Blender. Make friends. Go places.
Okay, so I don't know, if Travel Blender is really all that successful, or if anybody really cares about Travel Blender. Okay, but that, as an example, she hit all of the key elements. Okay, she had market size, she had who they were pitching to, they were going to be cash flow positive, what the return was going to be, right? 18-fold return in 5 years. That's when the eyes light up. When people come to you after the presentation, say, tell me more. Tell me more about the model, tell me more about the business experience, because you didn't touch on that. Okay, in this particular presentation. You're probably saying to yourself, well, we could never do anything like that. Oh, Blue Note's too hard, okay? That's not true, okay? We have some guys probably sitting here in the front row, or close to the front row, that, as John told you, or somebody told you, Alan mentioned this morning, or Todd mentioned this morning, last year's competition, they got second place in the center region, right? I think they were a little ticked off that they didn't get first place, okay? But we managed through that, right? And then they basically went to the state competition, and I think they tweaked things a little bit, and they were the state winner, okay? Now they're back for the next year, acting as mentors to some of the state colleges, okay? So as Cheryl said, or as Todd said earlier this morning, you guys can do it, right? There's businesses out there waiting to be started, and you can put together some of these pieces with the resources that you have at hand that are willing to help you, and you could also do things, not to be state winner, but these guys actually did contracting and things like that last summer, and probably are still in business. Okay? So it is real, it can be done, you can do it too. So, quickly, we're almost back on the schedule, right? Any quick questions? I have some of these templates if you want to work off of. I don't know if I have enough for everyone, but I have probably at least enough for each group. If there's some left over, and if there's not enough, I can send you the article. Just take one per group and send them to the back. If there's some left over, we'll put them in the break room across the way.
You guys want to hear us? Thank you very much. John's efforts, we're able to be here at Innovation Plus. He's done a tremendous job.
Okay, so I'm a banker, so everybody's saying my name is snore, right? Be honest. I'm going to try to make it a little bit more exciting, but I'm not sure how well I'll do. I'm really sad that I'm following Don. Let me just say that. But I have something a little bit more enticing than candy. I have some cash to keep you guys awake. Okay? And there are 5.
Big Papa wants money.
Actually, a $20 bill. So you gotta stay awake. Sorry, Don, that's the only thing I can do that would make this acceptable is to prove you.
We won't.
So we're going to talk about financials and startup capital. I want you to be honest. How many of you find this topic exciting? Okay, that's honest. I appreciate that. It can be a really dry topic, and I apologize. About the only thing I can do is throw cash. All right, so just, you are not unlike many entrepreneurs in that all they want to do is sell their product, right? And they're excited about the product, they want to take it out to market, but they're focused on the top line and not the bottom line. And as dry as financials can be, you need to focus on the bottom line or you're not going to be around for very long, okay? So I'm going to talk about a few things. Startup capital, where it comes from, some ideas. This is not comprehensive because we don't have enough time, but it'll give you some traditional sources. And then I'll talk briefly about financial statements. And during the breakout session, we can talk specifics about estimating costs and whatnot, okay? So stay awake, because you don't know when a question's going to come. And you got to get the right answer. Wrong answers don't get cash, okay? So sources of startup capital. First one. You that's not a question. Your piggy bank, right? You gotta go to your piggy bank, your cash, your marketable securities, stocks and bonds, right? That's the first source. This is called self-funding. And there are some advantages. So considerations and a little bit of advice. People like this, if they have the luxury of self-funding because they have the liquid assets, you remain completely in control of your business, okay? It's unusual that people have that kind of liquid assets when they're starting a business, but it is possible if you do some planning now, start saving your cash, have a couple jobs, be conservative in your finances, don't spend everything you make, guys. So that is probably the most attractive in terms of sources of startup capital. You have skin in the game. When you go to a banker or someone else who you want to ask for money, are they going to give you money if you don't have your own money in the business? Because what does that say about your faith in that business? You have to have skin in the game. Obviously, if you're self-funding, you're not going to be paying interest expense to a lender or whether it's a bank or an individual or another group. Now, things do go wrong for small businesses and large businesses, and that's a worry. So if you're self-funding, you don't have to worry about creditors coming after you if your business venture is not successful. Word of advice. Before you start your business, get your personal household finance in order, okay? You have to have a personal budget. If you don't know how to do that, ask someone. You have to know what's coming in the door and what's going out. You have to have a handle on this, because when you start your business, especially if this is the only source of income for you, not only does your business have to pay the expenses associated with the business, you have to live on that. So you have to have your personal finances in order. Credit score. Tell me what a credit score is. What's the popular name for credit score?
Your credit score is pretty much what banks and they want to get your history of purchases, whether or not you're able to make purchases on time. So, and stuff, so
Okay, all right. Tell me what, there's a name for this score that bankers often refer to. Someone tell me what that is.
Credit report.
You need to raise your hand. What's another name for a credit score? They pull it up from TransUnion or one of those.
Isn't it the FICO score?
Yes, FICO score. You guys gotta know your FICO scores. That's $5. Come on here. Seriously, FICO scores are more important than ever. You need to know your FICO score before you go to a banker. And guess what? You can get a free credit report. And I won't tell you where, but you can come to me afterwards. Get a free credit report. You need to look at that before you go to your banker and know if there's errors. Errors are more common today than ever. Okay, so you need to know your credit score. It affects everything today, not just your lending capacity, but it also affects your insurance rates. So know your FICO score. Small business owners, that is extremely important because your bank is going to be looking at your personal credit. Okay? And usually that's the only thing that you have to go on. All right, next source. Let's start at the back. friends and family, right? There's some risks though, but it's a traditional source. Hopefully your friends and family like you. They know you and they want to help you succeed, right? So they're a good source, or they can be. They're not looking for 20% returns, hopefully not, okay? Although, that's debatable, I guess. Some families, yeah, but they're not going to be, you'll see here, there's other sources of capital that are going to be much more expensive than friends and family. This is probably the option that offers you the most flexibility. They're hopefully going to be friendlier than your banker, okay, when things aren't going exactly as planned. Hopefully you're not sitting at the Thanksgiving table describing what went wrong with sales last month. They're going to be a little bit more patient. It does require strong relationships. So you have to think about this very carefully before you go to your friends and family for capital. A lot of people do it, but you got to know those relationships, and they have to withstand some challenging times, okay? Going back to the personal source, personal funding, I didn't mention debt, personal debt. And you're going to hear from consultants and some books that you read, and you're going to hear from people that have done it before, that they leveraged all their personal assets. So they used credit cards and they used their home. My comment on that is be careful, because credit cards, as you should know, are extremely expensive. The interest rates are high. Home equity loans or mortgages are less expensive, but you want to be very careful before you go down that route. My personal preference is people don't use credit cards to fund their startups. I know people do it, but more than ever, like I mentioned, your credit score is important. If you leverage your credit cards, it's going to affect your credit score, okay? Am I still awake? Traditional business loans. I'm a banker, right? So I have a banker joke. I can make fun of myself. So small business owners will appreciate that. Okay, so you got your borrower going to the banker and says, he wants a loan, right? The banker says, you need to improve your credit score. Come back after you pay off your share of the debt. All right, here's a question, because you guys should know this. This is an important topic today, national debt, even though this isn't related. I want to know, who can tell me the size of the national debt today? I didn't even call you, but yes, 16 trillion. You know what? That is something you guys should know because it's going to affect your future. All right? And that is why I'm paying $20 to the guy who invests. All right. Now, this is less important, but within $10,000, how much is that for each of you? Within $10,000. Oh man, that's as of today. You're within 1,000. All right, yeah, it's around $54,000 per each of you, per capita. All right, so that's some small business owners would say that it's as hard as paying off the national debt to get a business loan today. John and I would disagree. If you have all your stuff for your banker that we like to see, and I'll talk about this, but you've got to know a banker before you need a loan, that's a really good idea. Considerations, what are you looking for? What type of financing? Working capital, which that's short term, how you fund your accounts payable until your accounts receivable come in, right? Do you need equipment? Do you need vehicles? Real estate? That determines the loan term, the structure. Guys, you're not going to get 100% financing. Never. Don't count on it ever. You will, if you have an SBA, Small Business Administration loan, you can probably expect you're going to put at least 10% cash equity. So if you're looking for a $100,000 loan and you have an SBA guarantee, you're probably going to put in at least $10,000. But if you don't have an SBA guarantee, which I'll talk about briefly what that is, you're going to put in 20 to 25% cash. Okay, so cash comes from your piggy bank, your friends, your family. Collateral. Your business assets are going to be on the line for that loan. Okay? And as a small business owner, you likely will put your personal assets on the line. You're going to have your residence probably pledged as collateral, and you're going to have a personal guarantee. Does anybody know what a personal guarantee is? Yes? Okay. A personal guarantee is, it says, if the business can't pay my debt, I have to pay it. My business, I own a business, my business has run into some hard times, it can't pay the loan, I gotta pay it. And if I can't pay it, the bank, well, it's not a good situation. So personal guarantee means you're on the hook just as much as the bank, or as the business. Small Business Administration loans, SBA guaranteed loans, this is a great resource because where small businesses can't get loans sometimes, the SBA guaranteed loan through a bank is the option to look at. If anybody has questions on that, you can talk to me after. Before you need a loan, develop a relationship with a reputable banker. And you have tremendous resources in, I'm sure, in your hometowns and certainly within State College, which I'm most familiar with, Center County. You can go find out who those people are and who's going to help you. You want to get to know them, and you want them to get to know you. So when you do need a loan, they will have a pretty good idea of what you do, and you will also establish credibility. How am I at time? I didn't see when I started. Okay. Economic Development Center, great resource. CEDACOG, Ben Franklin, Don's both, obviously. SBA.gov. Actually, this is a great resource for small businesses. It has a lot of information. Center County Industrial Development Corporation. You have all sorts, within your hometowns or in Center County, there's usually an IDC. All of these entities will assist you with technical assistance, grants, loans. So PA Department of Community and Economic Development, another great resource. For not just technical assistance and consulting, but for money. Right? Okay. That's pretty evident. Anybody want to guess? Angel investors. I'm running out of cash. Angel investors, because that was easy, right? Considerations and advice. Unlike venture capitalists, angel investors invest their own money. Okay? They're not creating a fund that corporations or large investors invest in to then invest in your business. It's usually personal money that they're investing in. If your company doesn't need a large round of funding, this option is probably more appropriate than VC funding. You'll retain more day-to-day control of your business. That's important, right? You want to maintain control. Understand the angel investor's vision and return on investment goals, and make sure your goals align. You want to know the angel investors as much as they want to know you, because you want to make sure you're on the same page in terms of their vision versus your vision. Another source. Some business owners would say, these guys give me a headache. VC, venture capital. All sorts of varying opinions out there, but they do play a role. They are investing other people's money, so they can't quite take the same risks that an angel investor will take. They offer large amounts of funding, a plethora of resources, both intellectually and just their knowledge, and they're highly connected individuals. And in exchange for the investment, you give up a lot of control and strategic vision. That's the downside of VC funding, or one of the downsides. Very expensive. They are expecting a high return on their investment. You need an exit strategy. It limits your upside potential since venture capitalists will often require majority ownership of the business. And the flip side of that is they also take on the downside risk, the majority of that, because they own the majority of the company. Okay. Don't go in blindly. Your expenses. There's no one-size-fits-all method for determining startup. Every business is different. Every business is different. So you need to look at that and do a lot of research. Think about everything that will cost you money, whether it's one time or ongoing costs, okay? Do the research, don't guess. There's plenty of resources out there, you don't have to guess. You can also go to industry information that will be helpful, or other people in the business, network. If you're not sure exactly what you'll be spending money on, be sure to do your due diligence. Research other businesses, as I mentioned, in the industry to uncover expenses that you may not have thought of. You get a good accountant and a good attorney. It costs money, but it's worth it. Okay? And you can also use your banker as a resource of who those people are, the best people to go to against wheels. Plan for things to cost more than you think. I read double. That's tough, but you need a margin for error. And also a reserve fund, maybe 6 months for unexpected expenses. The Economics PA handout has specific expenses outlined within that document. If you have any questions, that's just kind of food for thought of what expenses you should be thinking of when you create your financial statement. You can ask me during the breakout session. By failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail. So, hopefully this was helpful to you. Sorry, lunch. But good luck to you all. And certainly, if you have any questions about specifics on the operating statement, you should certainly spend time with me in the afternoon. And I have a business card. I didn't put my contact information on there, but I'd be happy to talk with any of you as you work through this process. If you have specific questions, all my contact information will be on my business card. So just talk to me afterwards. Okay? Thank you.
A little bit more about Jean and also banking. Jean just started her role as a banker about at the same time I came into the Penn State Incubator 20 years ago. She was very young. She was probably about 10 years old. And I have thought I have done my preparation for financing the purchase of my business, and things didn't work out the way I had planned. And Jean was able to help me get an SBA loan, and that was the start of my business. And our relationship with the banker is very important. You may think they're the bad guys that are going to foreclose on you, but they're going to help you in this preparation. They're going to make sure that you are looking at the right elements of your business plan, and that you have a sound financial plan. They want you to be successful. Not only are they going to help you with financials, but I found John and Jean and others to be very helpful in helping you network with other professionals, CPAs, attorneys, other people in your industry, and so forth. So they're definitely there to try to a valuable resource to try to help you succeed. So get a relationship with a banker. They're going to make you jump over certain hurdles, but it's your own benefit. So thanks again, Jean.
All right, thanks, Alan. Thanks, Jean. Yeah, despite all the banker jokes, just so you know, we didn't find any attorneys. Those are the real bad guys. Just kidding. You need a good attorney. All right. Early this morning, we heard from a lot of people who actually started Alan, Todd, Dawn, and these latest presentations are for people that are going to try to support you as you start up your business. And our next speaker is David Jordan. And David has spent most of his career in that role of looking at businesses, analyzing what they need, and then supporting them as they go forward. So David today is going to talk about break-even analysis. And I have to say, just going back to last year's competition for a second, there was an analysis that a young woman from Penns Valley had put in her business plan that was absolutely outstanding. It was very simple. It was very easy to read, understand. I thought it was one of the best ones that I've ever seen. So Dave's going to help get your mind around how to do that kind of the section of the business plan. And I'll turn it over to Dave.
I don't know if it's going to be as good as the young lady from Penn Valley. I guess I've got bad news, is I don't have cash, I don't have food or candy. Sorry about that, so I'm a tough act to follow. I know I'm standing between you guys at once, so I'm going to be quick. Just as a way of a bit of a background, I now am a managing director of an incubator company here. And I think I'm going to be part of the tours here in a little bit, so perhaps one of those you can go along with me and we can kind of show you the experience of the guys there. Prior to doing this, I worked for the Small Business Development Center, and I've been a consultant for small businesses for 10 or 12 years. So what we're going to talk about, just real briefly, is break-even and break-even analysis. And just out of curiosity, the folks that are considering starting a business, I'll be on the product side. And then I guess the rest of you are obviously on the service side. So kind of hairstyles, dog grooming businesses, things like that. It's important to consider what kind of the business that you have when you're thinking about doing a break-even analysis. It's a little bit trickier on the service side. But I've just got a two-pager here, and I'm going to provide my contact information to Carolyn. You should call her Carolyn. If you guys have any questions, you want to reach out to me after you're back, I'm going to have to look at some of your financials. As I said, we do that for the SBC on a regular basis. They're a good resource for conversation, too. But break-even analysis is important because it gives you a picture of how your business is doing, at least forecasting, and what you need to do in terms of selling product or service. You need that break-even point. And a break-even point means when do you cover your fixed costs. So you need to think about your business in terms of what are the true fixed costs. There's a difference between fixed costs and variable costs, right? Fixed costs are things like rent, for things like utilities, for things like cell phone, things that are incurred. You go out and buy a truck for a landscaping business and you take a $10,000 loan out. That loan, principal and interest, is essentially fixed costs. So on the first page, I don't know if you guys have a little two-page handout. On the first page is just a real simple kind of example that I put together. Let's say I want to go out and sell cartoon watches. I sell cartoon watches at essentially flea markets on Saturday. And so I know that when I sell cartoon watches, I buy them from my supplier for $10. I want to make $10 a watch, so I'm going to mark them up 100%. And I want to sell them for $20. It costs me $100 a day to be in the flea market, to rent booth, rent a little 8 by 8 square foot booth. So if you just follow the math on that, you can see that you need to sell like 10 watches a day, which is breaking, that's covering your fixed costs. And obviously there's a whole lot of variability goes into that, what's truly fixed, what's variable. But I mean, those are the kind of easy calculations that you need to think about as you're starting your business. What's that minimum threshold? How many dogs do I need to groom? How many cookies do I need to bake? How many cupcakes do I need to bake? And figure out what that true. You can't just go with, obviously, the $20 at this thing because there's a cost to you to purchase the product. So that's your purchase price, your cost of the product. Obviously, the $20 is the sale price. So it's fairly simple, fairly straightforward. The second page I put together, it is going to be a little bit different on the product side versus the service side. I worked a little bit with a group last year on a landscaping business. And the tricky thing is, how do you figure out what break-even is on a service business? It seems like a lot of you kind of want to think about that, whether a dog grooming business or hairstyling business. And it gets to be tricky because you've got to then start thinking about what's my break-even, what's my threshold, but that's how you pay yourself. You have to start forecasting that I want to make $15 an hour, $20 an hour, $1. And how do I estimate the job? So there's things about like landscaping, you need to go be very, very good at project estimating, cost estimating, and that'll help you get to early break even. But at a point when you're saying, I know that I can do 3 or 4 landscape jobs, maybe the first 1 or 2, it may be a little, I think you're losing a little money at some point, get to the point where I understand what your costs are, and do a better job of forecasting and estimating project costs. So that's why I've broken these into 2 different categories of product versus a service-based business. And just think about how you want to make adjustments going down the road. Because service is more, it's a little more adjust on the fly. If you've got a good idea about how much you want to bid for a construction project, a landscape project, the important things to keep in mind are what's the competition for, and that's the bottom piece that I mean, that's a takeaway. That's kind of the 5-minute takeaway. Whether you're pricing products, you're pricing service, you've got to consider competition. You can't price what you're doing in the back. Obviously, and so that's going to require some level of marketing research. I can help you, the folks downstairs can help you, there's a lot of resources for that. The differentiators, that is what makes you unique. You guys are in a building business, trade business. What makes you do, you're different than 20 or 30 other folks that are in the business. So I have a trailer and a lawnmower. I'm a landscaper. Well, maybe I am, maybe not. What makes you better than Scott's? Some of the other folks that have been in business for a while. So think about those things as you're just writing a business plan. Competition, do a kind of at least a SWOT analysis on them, differentiators, and again, break even is back to fixed costs. You always want to be thinking about, if you can't get to the point where you're getting enough lift or altitude in the market where you're covering the fixed costs, maybe it's time to kind of redirect or see if you can slash your fixed costs so you can raise your price. But that's the minimum threshold, and if your break even is going to be a year or 2 or 3 years down the road, based on your forecast, you might need to change some of the forecasting assumptions for some of your analysis. Again, it's new to anchor business from a fixed versus variable cost. You want a minimum, you got to come to fixed costs. So, any quick questions? That's pretty much all I've got. But if you want to, again, when we follow up with you, reach out to Carolyn. She's got an email, or I'm happy to email that as well. So I know some of these folks have asked pretty short. So, any other questions? Perfect. You guys, I think you're going to have lunch pretty soon. So, I don't want to stand in your way.
Breakout sessions, we can see. And so you have your outline, you've heard the presenters. This next phase is as you take things a little more tangible, the speakers are going to float around from session to session. So, if you had a question maybe you didn't want to ask in front of the whole group, or you thought of it later, now's a good time to try to bounce that off some of the people here that are available to answer questions. So, I guess it depends on groups of teams around business, around businesses already. Okay, probably roughly where you're sitting. Okay. All right, well, I guess you're free to pull out your outline, start working on it. Ask any questions. So, any additional questions?
Anybody need a template? Money rise shipping. So all these people that build businesses servicing the shale gas, well pads and everything like that, they're like, well, where will that business go? Well, it went to Ohio, basically, because that's where they're still drilling some of the different gases. So, the price of corn for you guys, and also what the customer is experiencing is critical for you guys. Right. So even if you have the best business model in the world, if the customer's facing something,
it's a timing.
It's timing. You can have the best idea in the world, and if the timing's not right, doesn't matter.
Of course you can hire.
That's excellent.
I'm gonna have my water tested right now, actually, before they come back.
So you can buy,
do a little more research on
local, private, or just local farms, or who's
We're going to lease.
Yeah, we're gonna
lease farmland, grow the corn.
Okay.
Oh, really? I've got the attorney.
And you're going to sell to the ethanol producing.
Okay. So how are you going to have the cash for the equipment, the capital equipment that you need, like the tractors and the combines and everything?
Well, first we got there's like different grants we looked at.
Okay.
There's like the carrot contract. There's one other one, I'm not sure it is right now. But first we start with that, yeah, we have it all written down.
Okay.
And then for the first year, we like pay someone else to run the plant, harvest,
Okay.
all that stuff. And then from there, we take that money and from harvesting, we start buying different equipment, different like tractors, we start buying and.
Okay. So initially you're leveraging somebody else's money?
Yeah, we have someone else who can do that, and then you just go from there. Have all the equipment and stuff.
Something like that where you get
So yeah, I think it comes down to, again, what's the yields that you're going to get? Can you get enough corn off? What's the price going to be that can you pay for the people that are doing the planting and the farming for you?
Sure. Is that gonna off?
What are you
Is that gonna
paying
be
for
more
the
than
corn?
what you're gonna
Right,
return,
what are you
right?
selling the corn for? Is there enough in between there to then do your expenses to reinvest back into your equipment things?
Right, it goes back to your break-even point.
Yeah.
Certainly.
How much do you have to sell at what
Yeah.
price to be able to make enough to pay your bills and then profit to reinvest in
Thank you.
things?
They make a lot of money.
I'm gonna rotate back in.
Okay, great.
So, flag it down.
Why don't you have that?
That was my other option. All right, I want to hear this. Well, I heard a little bit the other day. You guys want to come back?
So we're gonna do this thing. Sam, you can take it from there.
It's like a gas business, so they're like, no, sort of now because the price.
Like It's like a school wood wood shop.
So they're
But you go and come to it
selling
like a gym
their product.
type thing, and you can, like, I know I had a problem where I want to do a project and I don't have the right tools. I don't have the big tools.
Where you track that, and that's what I talked about while you started up with it, but so many others go from 2 started up to.
How do you get from here to there?
Yeah, I mean, because I know one of my friends that plays state fair, she doesn't go to a state fair for less than $2,000 a day.
Mechanics garage. If someone's car blows apart and they die,
As would if not, okay, insurance, it's just breaking in.
Yeah, it's
People
getting
say, yeah, there's kids young, no experience, it's just gonna take a while to do it.
There, with ATM machines, it's basically the cost of the machine that you're trying to recover. Because they are fairly expensive. I think so, yeah.
Now, could you please explain to us what your role here is?
Well, my name is Alan Dar, and I helped create this event.
Okay.
In conjunction with Economics PA and Carolyn Sher. About 5 years ago, she was looking for sponsors to do this at the high school level. And I felt that since there was a lot of friendly competition between the various high schools in the county, I thought it would be great to do it in this format. So we brought them together and had a training session, and then we had a competition between the various schools.
Is there a common message that you try to convey every time you do this?
Yeah, I think many of our students have the capabilities of being entrepreneurs and having their own business at some point in the future. And we're trying to give them a basic skill set, a toolkit, if you will, in order to give them the basics so that when they do get that idea and they want to run with it, it's there. We're also trying to raise the awareness of the various resources that are available in the community. That's one reason we're having it here, where the Penn State Incubator and other service and support organizations reside to help start this.
Okay. One more question. Dang. Thanks. How do you feel about this class that came in today, or the group of students that came in today?
Yeah, I thought some of them were quite experienced. I saw several of them have won the competition at various levels, so they're back again. So I think see a lot of enthusiasm in the group and some experience. And I think they were pretty attentive today because it's a little different format than typical. Typically we had professors from local colleges teaching this. Now we have folks that have hands-on experience with either their own business or in supporting businesses. And I think it made it more relevant for the students. So this little work session here will help them get at least a foothold for the business plan.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
I think you should have. This is how you should okay?
Okay, so how is your day going? How are you enjoying this so far?
We haven't gotten lunch yet.
Okay, can you give me something I can use?
We sat and listened to a few different speakers about their businesses and how they build it and
Did
what
you-
is important to that.
Did you find it to be interesting?
Yes. Yes.
What is something that you took away from this?
Customer
Creepy.
service is key.
Mm-hmm.
You
have to
can't
be
do
unique.
anything without customer service and what sets you apart.
Okay.
Always good.
So we entered a breakout session. What is it that we're doing right now?
Breaking down our ideas on a business plan.
And what is your idea?
We have gluten-free eating.
It's cheaper.
Better eating.
How are you going to do like a pair of pants that fits?
Oh yeah, Gabby wants to do a pair. She wants to. You will come in and fit a pair of pants to your body. It's very
That-
difficult for.
That is.
Big booty hose to find pants. I'll put it out there on the
People tell me that all the time. Okay, so what kind of day are you having today?
It's fun, it's awesome.
So you guys are enjoying this?
Yeah.
Okay, what is something that you learned from your experiences here?
How to do an elevator.
Okay. Do you think that you'll be able to apply what you've learned here in the future, whatever it is that you want to do?
Yeah.
All right, now what is it, since we're in a breakout session, exactly what is that you're doing right now?
Working on the plan for our business.
All right, and you guys are from which school?
That's valid.
All right, thanks for having me.
Some leverage.
It's worked well in other areas.
It was like, how many times do you go to school and I'll charge your debit card?
Well, especially nowadays.
Yeah.
What was your first idea?
Our first idea was the ATM, but we're sort of branching off of it. We're going to do a wedding service, but we're going to stick with the ATMs in the schools to have cash for students available. If you forget your lunch money or you want to purchase something at the student store, you always can have cash. We also have it available for sporting events. If you need cash, something like that, like the football games.
Sounds good, thank you. Okay, so tell me about the day you guys have been having so far. Trowbridge, you filmed today, so you are having a very interesting day.
Yes, I did. I've been filming all throughout the day, and it has been very interesting. I've been able to hear all the different speakers and have a lot of fun and snacks along the way.
Paige, what do you have to say?
It's been definitely different from other business conferences that I've been to, and I definitely learned a lot from what I have been told today.
Is there anything that you guys took away from this that you may use in the future?
Well, we've been coming up with some great ideas. We have what they call dough cakes. It is a donut with a cupcake in the middle. And this is just going to revolutionize my life. It's just going to change the way I look at things now.
If
And
America
life's
wasn't
not
fat
gonna be the
enough.
same. Yes, we are going to make America even fatter.
We even came up with the idea of having coffee cream filled donuts.
You bite into it, coffee and donut in one bite.
That is amazing, and
It is.
I'm looking forward to your innovation. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So, have you had a good day today while you're here?
So far, it's been very informative, been a good day. I think we're learning a lot, so I think it's definitely been beneficial.
Do you think that your students will take something away from this?
Absolutely. Absolutely, and I can't believe how hard they're working right now.
What have you been doing so far since we've entered a breakout session?
Well, since we've been in the breakout session, I've just been helping the different groups try to coordinate their business ideas and come up with their plan. So
Have any of them had real good ideas?
I think some of them have great ideas.
All right. I like the idea of donuts and cupcakes.
I like that idea too.
That would be
gluten-free bakery. I mean, we've got all kinds of good stuff going on.
Sounds good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.